Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Citizens Crime Watch podcast. And today we're here to talk about some business safety tips, briefly talk about our Business Watch program. I'm your host, Joe Bermudez, and I am here today with Kathy from our Citizens Crime Watch. And it's always a pleasure to talk with you, Kathy, about our programs.
It's great to be here with you, Sarge, as always. So, business safety. As a business owner, I am not a business owner, but as a business owner, I bet it's important to know, like, how can I keep my business safe? Not just my business, but my employees, everything in a whole, because ideally without your employees, your business cannot run by itself. So I think it's one of the most important things to cover real quick is employee training, right? Like how to train your employees.
No, yeah, definitely. The backbone of any business is its employees. And as a business owner, you put a lot of trust in these individuals to make sure they're doing the right thing when you're not there. Unless you're a business of one, which a lot nowadays it's very hard just to run businesses by yourself, but you got to put that trust in there. So I think it all begins with establishing a good team. Like we have here at Citizens Crime Watch, we have a great team, but is working with a good team and putting together a good team and maybe selecting a good management component. So you want to have someone that you can kind of give your trust to when you're not around to keep things moving and going. So you want to have that managerial person, and you want to train them right. You want to be able to have them train the employees under them. And monitor them constantly and make sure that everything's flowing well with the business. There's just all different types of procedures that that person needs to be trained on, and they need to pass on to the employees.
Especially for example, the basics, opening and closing anything, a store,
an
office, anything.
That's just the basics of that, of opening your business and closing your business. You want to make sure that you're training them not to do that by themselves. We see that that's kind of one of the most vulnerable times for a business is when they're opening and closing, because sometimes you have these employees that come in by themselves to open the store. So a criminal will take advantage of that time. So it's always a good idea to have a couple people opening at the same time. You never want to have one person by themselves opening a store. Number one, you don't want them walking into something that's currently occurring, or you don't want them vulnerable as they're opening the store to be robbed or attacked.
Because obviously they'll be handling money, right? They'll be counting out a cash register. They'll be setting that up.
Sometimes there'll be that administrative portion of getting the day started, which it could be that, if it's a business, a cash type business, they may be setting up a cash register. And then, just talking on that topic, that's a good thing that you want to have. You want to have established cash handling procedures. So you may want to have, for nighttime, you may want to have like drop safes where they can drop money in, and then have established money that they can start off in the mornings, just so they're not handling all the cash that's going on in the business.
And if they are, for whatever reason, you want to make sure that the business is locked.
Yes.
Right? They don't have,
so you want coming and going. Yes, exactly. So you want to establish a time for these businesses to have their opening procedures. So you want to have, if you have someone opening the business coming in, have them get there with enough time that they can have everything set and ready to go before they open the business to the public. Same thing at night when you're doing it at night. You don't want to be the last thing you want to do is have your store open and you have your employee trying to close out and count the box, count the register, shut down and settle out for the day while you still have customers coming in and out of the store. So it's stuff that needs to be done. That goes into that cash handling or money handling procedures.
Next thing is, like, a lot of people think that, like, what do you do when a robber comes? Ideally, you would hope that you would automatically just be like, it's not worth it.
I mean, we're jumping to the worst case scenario, obviously there. Yeah, definitely. If in that case where you are being robbed, or someone is, that criminal is trying to take advantage of you or something like that, give them what they need, what they want, what they came to get. Obviously there's no money, there's nothing in a store that's worth a person's life. So you don't want to get physical with them. You don't want to try to fight them off.
I know people
The best
take.
thing you can do is get a description.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get as much information as possible so that you can pass it on to the police when the time comes. Sometimes if you have a panic alarm, that's a good thing to have set up. If you have a panic alarm,
Yeah.
teach them how to use the panic alarm so that they can, activate it if they have to.
Yeah, I know a lot of people see the videos or movies where like the gas station employee has like this shotgun under the shelf. Yeah, don't do that. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's statistically we've seen in instances like that happen where the weapons that come into play get used against the person that introduced them. Yeah, we do see the videos. Those are the ones that go viral of the successful store clerk that stopped the robbery or did something, but those are far and few between. More times than not, you got to understand that criminals got the upper hand on you. The criminal's watching you. Mm-hmm. The criminal's looking for the time that's opportune for them to strike and attack and rob. So you're as a business owner, you're concentrating on service to the employee. I mean, services to the consumers. The customers that are coming into your store, trying to provide that good customer service and stuff like that. Most of the times you're not on high alert for someone that's going to rob you or do anything. So you got to think that person's always got the upper hand on you.
And also, and most of the time, these people, it's not the first time they're doing this. They're experienced. This is what they do for a living.
They've thought it out. They've thought it out a lot more than you've thought it out on what it is you're going to do if you get robbed. So it's good to have a plan if you are being robbed. If your business is being something's going on at your business that's an emergency, so have that emergency plan in effect with your employees, train them. But in the end, you want to tell them, it's not worth your life or stuff like that. Same thing even with a shoplifter. If you don't want to take a shoplifting and turn a shoplifter into a physical confrontation where you're fighting over someone that's stealing something, merchandise or something from your store. It's not worth it. Again, the best bet there is to get a description. If they're a mode of travel, if they're in a car or something, or direction of travel, anything like that. That you're better off doing that to help the police after the fact than trying to get physical and trying to stop it yourself.
And like you had said, there's alarm systems with panic buttons that you can have easily accessible where you can set these off.
As an owner, there's a lot of different things that you can do to make your business a little bit safer. We talk a lot on our podcast about technology and the advancements of technology. And nowadays there's so many amazing things that you can do with alarm systems, with panic alarms, with surveillance systems
that are constantly monitored.
You have systems you pay to have constantly monitored. So you can go down that route if you're able to. Just having a surveillance system that will document the incident after the fact, so it can provide evidence for a police officer or a detective investigating it, or for prosecution down the line if the person's ever caught.
Another option is you could, depending on the size of your business, you might look into getting an actual security guard available.
Obviously, if you're financially set that you can hire someone for your security, that is something that's a deterrent. And everything we talk about is a matter of deterring the crime from happening, helping the businesses deter criminal activity, I guess you can say. That security.
The greeter that you guys see at like Walmart.
Greeters. You know what? And even just not even just a greeter, but actually if you have employees that are active and engaging with customers as they walk in, a lot of times that itself is a deterrent. When a criminal wants to commit an act of violence or a robbery or something like that, the number one thing is they want to get in, they want to get out, they don't want to be seen, they don't want to be identified. They want to do it as quickly as possible. So if you acknowledge that whole idea of a greeter is to acknowledge a person that's coming in. So
it's like,
right
hey,
there, I saw you. I see you. I see you're the guy that's wearing the red hoodie and the jeans. I see what you you came into my store. So even having an employee that's not buried into their cell phone,
Yep.
watching YouTube videos or reading a book or something like that, just somebody walks in, hi, how you doing?
Let me know if you need anything,
Yeah,
any
I mean,
acknowledgement.
it's funny. I talk, there's restaurants that when you walk in, they yell, hi, welcome,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And even though it's something that it's welcoming to the consumer, that's a crime prevention strategy.
Mhm.
That's you're acknowledging, hey, we saw you walk into the store. We know that you're in here.
Yeah.
So that right there is a crime prevention strategy. So doing things like that, having that interaction with your consumers. Not only that, it calls attention to other customers in the store. Somebody else, a customer may be sitting there and they hear you say hello to somebody, they instinctively look up and see what's going on. It's like that old adage, when you're sitting in a restaurant
Yeah.
and you hear that plate or that glass fall.
Oh,
What does
everybody wants to say.
everybody turns and looks and see, whoa, what was that? Hey, oh,
Yeah.
God, all that great stuff.
Exactly.
But it's an attention getter. So it's the same thing with calling attention to somebody walking in or something going on.
Another simple way of reducing crime is just having good maintenance.
Listen, that's probably one of the most important things when it comes to maintaining a business or
Mhm.
having a business is being a responsible owner, having good lighting
Definitely.
for your safety and the safety of your customers, landscaping, maintenance of the parking lot, surveillance of the parking lot if you can. It goes back to there's a thing called broken windows theory in crime prevention. And it's an ideal where, a building starts off with one broken window. And if it's not maintained, then there's another broken window. And then it leads to graffiti. And then it leads to people breaking in and hanging, and it just keeps getting progressively worse because
No one's fixing.
nobody's taking. And what it does is it shows that you don't care about your business. So if you have a business that's well lit, has alarm systems, has employees that are attentive, has good lighting,
doesn't have signs all over the window
signs in the window.
See out.
That that's something that's really important. It's something in crime prevention is called natural surveillance. You want to be able to look and see what's going on. How many times have you walked up to a store and there's so much signage on the windows and on the doors that you don't even know what's going on in there. You don't even know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
So let alone from an employee's perspective, not knowing what's walking in. So it's a good idea to have that clarity so that you have that natural surveillance of what's going on. So there's just all little types of things that you can do.
Same thing when you go into shrubbery and trees. Like you want to make sure that if you do have like a beautiful landscaping, standalone building that you can see.
You want to have your shrubbery trimmed down so people can't hide behind it. You want to have trees cut up so people can't hide behind it. So there's a lot of things that go into that, that you have to take into effect, when it comes to maintenance of your property. But what it all comes back to is showing ownership of your property. And if you show ownership of your property, a lot of times we see statistically that criminals will move on to somebody that doesn't care. If you show caring in your business and your property, they're going to be a little more apt to go to the person who doesn't care. Definitely. The person doesn't have alarms. The person that
or whose employees are just going to let you.
Yeah, who cares what's going on? Hey, take what you want, buddy.
Texting.
Exactly. It doesn't have a poorly lit entrance to a business or a parking lot and stuff like that. Where, like I said, they can get in and out. So a lot of things like that. Just the idea of maintaining your business, your property, stuff like that is a good idea.
If anything, there is a sign that is particularly important for business owners, in my opinion, to have, which is the We Care signs.
Right. So we have something here in Miami-Dade County, which is called the We Care sign program. It's a program that you can sign up with any police department, any district station within Miami-Dade County. You go to the station, you fill out an affidavit. Mm-hmm. And basically what it does is it gives the police department authority to be representatives of the property and trespass warn anyone from being on your property. So it's a good tool to have. So if you have a business that tends to have vagrants or people loitering around in your area that you don't necessarily want, it gives us that power as police officers to tell them to move along. Yeah. And if they don't, And if they don't abide by it, then we can go ahead and arrest them and remove them from the property. So it's something really important as a business owner, that if you tend to have a business that has that constant movement of people coming in and out, you want to have the ability for police to come in there and kind of be your representatives, for lack of a better term.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the reason the we care signs are so important is because unless the owner's there,
Right.
they can't do anything.
Right.
So it's not the manager. It has
When
to be
it
the
becomes a
owner.
business or something like that that's open to the public, you have a right to go in and out. So unless the owner tells them, listen, we don't want you in here. We want you to leave the business. We as police officers can't come in there and tell them to leave.
Right.
So by having these we care signs, it gives us the authority and the power to be representatives of the business owner to ask them to leave. That way, a lot of times it could even be used to defuse the situation. So, if you have something where it's maybe something's escalating, an argument between a customer and an employee, that's a great tool for us to be able to defuse and say, listen, we need you to leave the premises.
Definitely.
Because even if the owner's not there, we can use it and tell them to leave. And if they don't leave, they'll be arrested. So it becomes a good tool for police to use.
Something that is ideal for shopping centers is ideally you want to get to know the other shops, if not the owners, at least the managers, the other shops around you, and my husband works for Walgreens. He's worked there for 17 years or so. Something that Walgreens does is there's one in every corner. So if one Walgreens gets robbed or somebody's doing some fraudulent gift card transactions, they call the other Walgreens.
They spread the information.
And all the Walgreens know.
It's
there's some
networking.
lady in a white shirt who just came and took this or is trying to get these gift cards or this and the other. And it's crazy how quick they're able to hit all the Walgreens in the same area.
Right.
Because they just call one after the other and they stop them. Actually, a few years ago, there was somebody who was doing the gift card frauds. And it didn't start at my husband's store, but they had hit my husband's store by the time that they got the call. But by the fourth store they hit, they already got them. They had gone
because the information was out there.
Yeah,
you know what? That's a great program. It's an internal program within the company that works great for them.
Yeah,
and it's a model that should be shared and by a majority of business owners. And I know that Citizens Crime Watch is currently working at revamping their Business Watch program, which is similar to something like that, or similar to our Citizens Crime Watch program, where we set up that networking between, where we would normally set up that networking between homeowners. We're able to use that same concept and set it up between businesses and stores, maybe in a strip shopping center or an area that's highly commercialized. So you're able to share that information, because a lot of times the same burglar will hit the same area over and over again until they get what they want from there. Or if they see that it's easy targets, they may want to hit that area over and over again. So by working together and getting to know your business, it comes back to that same concept that we have for Citizens Crime Watch, and now what we're revamping for Business Watch is getting to know your neighbors, getting to know who's next to you, and sharing,
and looking
information,
out
looking out for each other. Because like you said, here you talked about maybe a gift card fraud or a check fraud or something of that nature. Just because they're not just going to maybe target your business, if they're able to try to get it done there, or maybe they weren't able to do that fraud at your business, they may go down 2 stores down and try it with them.
Exactly.
So if you're able to share that information between the various businesses, you're able to circulate that information. A lot of times you'll be able to push the crime. And that's what we talk about. You want to deter, you want to push it away, push it somewhere else.
And information travels fast. Like, it's only going to take one criminal or two to be like, hey, don't hit this shopping center. Yeah. Like, they all know each other. And the second you hit one, you're going to be blacklisted from
they have their little networking, just like we would have our, from a safety side, they'll have their networking as, listen, stay away from this area because they're on point. They're out there keeping each other informed, and it's not worth our time or effort of hitting this area there. So
definitely part of our business watches, we also have the decals for the windows where we say like no cash is left in the stores overnight, which is a strong thing you shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be leaving money in a store that's empty overnight. Yeah,
that's a great program. That open and empty program is a great idea, a great program. It's something that if you do have a cash business.
Mhm.
You should never leave a register. If you have that cash register there, you should never leave it looking like it's closed, like it has money in there. It's always a good idea to leave the cash register open and leave that drawer out. And then having those decals or having something that says, we're part of the open and empty program where no money is left in the register at night.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we talked about earlier. It's a good idea to have that night drop to drop money and stuff like that, so that it's locked up and not just sitting around unsecured.
Well, I feel like we've covered a few tips. I know that this isn't a lot, but hopefully we'll come out with more tips to help keep your businesses safe. As well as if you're interested in a business watch, feel free to contact our office at 305-470-1670. We'd be more than happy to set that up for you.
Awesome. And, feel free, go back and watch some of our other podcasts. We talk about crime prevention all the time. And a lot of the tips that we talk about can be put into Business Watch, just like we talk about home safety and crime prevention through environmental design, which we'll be talking about in the future, a little more in depth. So feel free to go back and watch some of our other podcasts and get some information and get yourself well-versed, because as I always say, crime prevention starts with you. Thanks.